Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Schweiger Live. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Decided with such a beautiful day out here, I'd take it outside and show off our 8-acre vineyards. We're now at full flowering, so the 2020 harvest is coming, and we're really excited for it. Speaking of really excited, we have two very fun guests today, Brian Newman and Angie Pontani. Both in New York.
Brooklyn. Yeah, but New York. Yeah,
and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So, and Brian, amazing trumpet player, band leader, Grammy Award winner. Angie, chef, world famous dancer. Angie and Brian, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, Andy. We're so stoked, man. So we're really happy to be here.
Great. And also we have for those of you, many of you tuned in today knowing about this already, but we have a fun partner in Coravan. So we're going to be Coravan accessing our wines today. And at the end of the show today, we're going to be giving away a Coravan Model 6 to one of the pre-registered guests. So stay tuned. And when we announce your name, shout out so we know you're here so we can get your Coravan out to you.
Awesome.
Brian, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your show?
Oh, man. Well, I've been a trumpet player in New York since around 2003. I moved here from Ohio after college, and I just started playing. I've always been playing gigs, and I just always had my own band and always tried to have a regular gig somewhere. And that's kind of just led into a wonderful career. I met Angie playing music, and we just had many wonderful moments together. On and off the stage, and it's been amazing, and we get to do our show together in Las Vegas at the Nomad restaurant at the Park MGM. So that's been a dream come true.
Great. And also, so then you're also at the same time doing Lady Gaga's show with her as well?
Yeah, I'm the band leader for her jazz orchestra at the Park Theater, which is right next door to the Nomad restaurant, which is on the same property at the Park MGM. So that's been, we do that once a week, and then we do our show four nights a week, and it's great to have a lot of special guests, and we have staples. Angie's in the show all the time. Me and my band that also play in the show with Gaga. So sometimes it's double duty, but we're having such a blast, man. It's really a dream.
Well, cool. And Angie, in addition to dancing, you have a cooking blog.
Yeah, I've always loved cooking.
And I've been working on something fun today.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah. I've always loved cooking. I've been cooking since I was a little kid. And after we had our daughter and I had to stay home a little bit more, I really focused on that a bunch. So today, when we were doing this, Brian told me about this whole idea of pairing with the food, and I got really excited. And one of our favorite things to do in the summer is to grill skirt steak. And I think it's just a beautiful pairing with your wines. And I made a little crostini. We're going to put it on a little crostini. So it's like a rosemary herbed skirt steak. Should I show you? Are we going to sip first or cook first?
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right.
All right.
So, Brian, you might have to clear the wine so we can
Yes,
see
I'll move it over here.
Okay, so with this skirt steak, the one thing that I love to do that I started doing with my marinades this year is to blend them up in a NutriBullet or any kind of like immersion blender, because what that does is it takes like all the good stuff. Like here's some rosemary, fresh from my garden, some shallots. So I just put it in here, and not only does it make like my prep time so much better because I don't have to chop everything so finely and care about any of that. The NutriBullet does it for me. A little salt.
What did you put, garlic in there?
I did put garlic. Of course I did. Yeah. I don't even recognize when I put garlic in something now because
it just goes in everything.
Do I even have to acknowledge it?
It's like grapes and wine. It just goes in there.
I know, it's true. Salt and pepper. And then some red wine vinegar and olive oil. The Italian salad dressing of the gods, really. So I put it in here. But the reason that I mix it is because a lot of times when you make a marinade and then you put it on your meat and you put it in the refrigerator and it's sitting there, everything falls to the bottom. And I want like my garlic and my rosemary to caress my skirt steak. I don't want them to sail away.
Down, Brian, down.
I know, right? It's hard. That's hard. Caress. She said caress. You heard it, right?
Food is better
Caress
when you
the
make
skirt.
it with love.
Caress the skirt steak.
So it's going to be a loud sound, but it only takes a minute. And it's done. It's so much easier than finely chopping something or mincing something. And it makes like a cool paste. So it has the consistency of, I like to say, a smoothie. So I have a skirt steak here, about a pounder. I cut the fat off of her, I trimmed her down, and I just pour it in. And if nobody was watching, I would massage it with my hands, but I'm not gonna do that today. Because it's gross. So I'm just gonna paint it on and stick it in the refrigerator and let it hang out for at least an hour, which we're not gonna do. I made another one. But while I get this going, and I'm gonna set up some crostini too, maybe we could sip or somebody could toot his horn a little bit.
Yeah, you guys want to hear a song?
That'd be awesome.
Taste some wine? All right, here we go.
And in the fridge we go. And look, she's painted all up on all her sides.
Right. All of me. Why not take all of me? Oh, can't you see? I'm no good without you. Oh, take my arms. I'll never use them. Oh, I have my lips. No, I'll never use them. And your goodbyes left me with eyes that cry. Oh, how can I go on, dear, without you? No, you took the part that once belonged to my heart. So why not take all of me? All of me. Why not take all of me? Oh, can't you see? I'm no good without you. Oh, take my lips. I'll never use them. Oh, you can have my arms. I'll never use them. And your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. Oh, how can I go on, dear, without you? Now you took the part that once belonged to my heart. No, baby, why not take all of me?
Yay!
Some without the band, you know. Thanks for listening to that, guys.
It sounds amazing.
Well, Brian, when Melissa sent me your contact info, I looked you up on Spotify right away and listened to your music, and I was like, I'm going to get along with this guy. So two things right off the bat. I heard that starting click track, iReal Pro. Am I right?
I am iReal Book Pro. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Keeps me
and
on the chord changes, you know.
Yeah, and then the choice of All of Me, my jazz combo all through high school, college. Well, I remember the Steve Martin movie, All of Me.
Oh, of course, great movie.
At the very end, they started as a ballad with the piano player, the guru, just playing one note on the piano,
Yeah.
and he's playing all of me as a ballad. And then with each chord change, the guru just hits the next note. That's how we used to open all of our. That's how we used to open all of our shows.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And you were a tenor player, alto, or what was your favorite instrument?
Whole family, but most of my gigs usually land me on alto, and more recently, there's not enough bari sax players out there, and all through high school, you resisted playing bari sax because bari sax just gets the boring parts. And about the time I hit my 40s, all of a sudden I had this revelation that no, bari sax is the cello of the saxophone world.
Yeah.
And I found a guy who traded me wine for a sweet Yamaha intermediate bari, and I get more calls for gigs as a bari sax player these days than I ever did for a soprano sax.
Oh, that's great, man. I love the baritone, man. It's a beautiful instrument. It's a lot to carry around, though. But that's a good thing, man.
I'll tell you. In my days doing pit orchestra,
sorry, excuse me.
It's a fun book, but you only want this part if you're going to enjoy having a large truck and going back and forth to your truck.
Yes.
I was in the pit orchestra for West Side Story, and I had the low reed book, and so that was a bass sax, a bari sax, bass clarinet, alto flute, and bassoon.
Oh my dear Lord, that is a lot of instruments.
Yeah, that's serious.
And those are all big, not small either. That's not small.
No.
Small reeds. A bass sax. I don't think I've ever seen one in person. I've only heard it on recordings or seen pictures of it. That's amazing. You have one of those too?
I don't. I rented that one for that gig. But a band I play in now, we've got one guy who's fairly regular, and we specifically write a bass sax part for him. It's on me, they're a good, if you have the bottom curve sitting on the floor, they come up about 5'8", 5'9". So you got your neck strap on, they're up to here.
Wow, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. Such a cool sound, though. I love the sound of that. It's a honking.
Oh yeah,
honking low notes.
Oh yeah. Well, if you ever get a chance, I don't think they're around anymore, and in fact, I don't think they're even on Spotify. You got to find their CDs. There's a saxophone ensemble called Nuclear Whales.
Yeah.
And Nuclear Whales has a bass and a contrabass.
Wow. That's even bigger. Contrabass is bigger.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's like 7 feet. It's like 6 or 7 feet tall or something like that.
What?
Something like that.
Well, it's a full octave down from your bari.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's double the size of a bari.
Pretty much.
Wow. That's insane, man. I just love music, man. That's really cool to hear you. That you're a player. That makes a big. It's just cool. It's really cool to hear.
That's what's made it fun, is having musicians on the floor. It's, I never would claim to be good at interviewing. These are more just fun conversations and, talking about things you love, like wine, like music. I just got an email from the San Jose Sharks vice president today, and they're going to start throwing some players my way. So we'll talk a little hockey too.
Awesome, man.
That'll be fun.
Awesome. I was just talking to my neighbor next door who's a hockey fan and a hockey player, and he was saying that Canada is starting to play some games again. They're planning in the planning stages of all that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So
but with no people in the audience, but still,
you still can watch.
Yeah, watching the game, man. That's great.
It's going to be a different energy level, that's to be sure, but we'll see. Well, hey, you guys want to dip into some wine?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Which one should we open first, or stab first with the Coravin?
Let's go for the dedication. It's got a few more years of age going with it. For those of you who've never seen a Coravin before, it's actually a pretty cool device. So here is the 2013 dedication. I'm in the dark. Maybe Brian, you can bring. Thank you.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
So I have not opened this. And the Coravin has a needle. It was actually designed by a doctor. If I've got my story correct, it was designed by a doctor who designed was always trying to come up with new methods for performing a less painful spinal tap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm mixing my metaphors now. So this device goes up to 11. And I'm working on an older model. Brian, Angie, you have the Model 6 out there, and that's what we're going to be giving away today.
This thing is
And
awesome.
after you clamp it on, all you do is plunge that needle through the bottle. I'll try and do this. It's hard to do it in the air. Usually you've got your glass on the table. You press the trigger and dispenses away.
Wow.
There you go.
That's so cool.
When you're done, you pull it out. The cork is still in, cork heals, and you can put it away. I actually first found out about these at a Halloween party with K.R. Rombauer. K.R. is a huge fan of the Coravan. In fact, nobody was really using them yet, and you'd think that K.R., he's such a strong verbal supporter of it, you'd think he was a shareholder. But it's fun. He actually, when he holds parties, has 4, 5, 6 cases of wine that he and the guests just access. So you can have that fun vertical of Cabernets from multiple vintages, and everybody can try a little taste and then come back and enjoy it 6 months or a year later.
So nice.
So nice, man. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Salute.
So
Dun, dun.
cheers, guys.
Cheers,
So
man.
this is our dedication. This is our dedication when I started making wine for my family here in 1994. My dad pretty much told me that, look, I don't know how to make wine. I just know I grow great grapes. So none of that fancy blending you do at other wineries. Just 100% Cabernet, 100% Merlot.
Yeah.
And over time, I proved to him that we could actually make a little bit more layering, a little bit more elegance by blending multiple varieties together. And I still love 100% Cabernet and 100% Merlot. But sometimes, sometimes you're in the mood for skirt steaks, sometimes you're in the mood for filet mignon.
Absolutely.
And you gotta have variety. And so I convinced Dad to let us plant some Cabernet Franc and some Malbec. And dating all the way back to 2000, we've been producing dedication in limited runs, rarely over 500 cases in one vintage.
Wow. That's crazy. It's amazing, man. It's the wine's incredible. We tried it earlier in the week too, and we had with the skirt steak last week. It was just really, really great.
We gave it a test run.
Andy, do you know? I see Andrew Gutauskis. He's watching. He's one of the best Barry saxophone players I've ever heard, man. He plays with that band Brass Against. We've done some gigs at Birdland together. You would really like that band Brass Against if you don't know him already.
Well, guess what, Brian? I have met him via email as of yesterday, and Andrew and Brad Hammond are going to be my guests next week.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Oh, that's amazing, man. What's up, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, that band is killer. Brad's an amazing guitar player, bass player. They're just really fun, man. Really fun band.
Yeah. Okay. How are you guys doing? Great to see you. Hey, Andrew. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, man.
And for all of you watching on Zoom, if you have any questions for Angie or Brian, and also on Facebook Live, if you have any questions, feel free to do them in the comments. We have Paula watching them, and she'll chime in if you guys have any questions for Brian and Angie.
Hey,
oh, Angie, do you mind sharing that recipe later? If you email it to me, and then I can put it. I've got a Dropbox where I keep different food pairing recipes that I've shared over the course of these videos.
Yeah.
And then I can share that link on Facebook afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm about to cut the skirt steak right now. The crostini's done, and we'll plate it up and show you guys. So it's coming. Yes, I will definitely share it with you.
Fantastic.
Andy, I had a question for you, man. Like when you say like, I'm a wine drinker. I was a bartender for a long time, a cellar rat, but I've never been to a winery a vineyard like yours? Like when you're mixing the grapes, like how do you can you explain it to me for someone who doesn't know? You know what I mean? Like how you get to that percentage of Cabernet Franc and percentage of Merlot, or what? Just like, I don't know, a little more insight for that.
Absolutely, and it is something akin to arranging, where you're trying to, when you're arranging a chart, you're trying to bring, build intensity, then you release it. When you're working with creating a blend, actually with all of our wines, even the straight varietals, I go through and assess all of our Cabernet lots from a vintage. What I call a lot, and that's typically any unique section of vineyard that I picked on a given day. So behind me is our 8-acre, which we also call, that's my dog if you hear. The 8-acre behind me, we also call the Monterey Block. We will pick this vineyard over the course of 7 days. So this one block will produce 7 unique Cabernet lots.
Wow.
And just depending on the timing of when we picked it, the fruit load on there, you're going to have different nuanced aromas and flavors in the finished wine. And so I go through them and say, wow, this one is an amazing standalone. Sometimes you'll have something that is lacking in mid-palate. Well, what do you know? You have another lot that has a very aggressive mid-palate. And you start to put these together and see how they can complement each other. With Merlot aromatically, we're bringing in a lot of what I call the blue fruits. So more pomegranate aromas, more boysenberry, more fresh plum. And so you bring that in, and so you're slowly building in these layers. Cabernet Franc is amazing to work with, especially up here in the mountains, because it has a unique dried cherry, herb de Provence aroma, along with, depending on the vintage, a little bit of a cocoa powder or vanilla to it. I actually did a wine pairing with a chef in Vail once, where we were tasting the Cabernet Franc by itself. And he said, it's too bad we have this in the middle of the meal. I would love to do a Black Forest cake with this. But being mid-meal, I need to do something savory. And he actually said, hey, I've got an idea. Let's go back in the kitchen. And I enjoy cooking. And so we geeked out together for about 3 hours. And he wound up doing a braised veal cheek that he braised in a cherry glaze and mocha powder, and served it on a vanilla potato foam, a little more cherry reduction sauce, and a dash of cocoa powder.
Wow.
And did that with the Cabernet Franc. And it was just a fun, amazing, so it was a savory Black Forest cake. And then we also put Malbec in here. Malbec is a very unique aroma and flavor. And the first time I ever tasted a Malbec grape by itself, the flavor completely perplexed me. And I finally figured out what that flavor is. Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Chewing Gum. What flavor is that?
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
No one knows.
Nobody. It's really good though. I just tasted it when you said that. Like I could my memories came back.
But what's unique about the juicy fruit is that there's an acidity to it, and it's what I call a mouth-watering acidity. That as soon as that stick of juicy fruit chewing gum or the Malbec berry in this situation hits your palate, that acid, it's not sour, but it activates your salivary glands and just gets you prepared for enjoying the next bite of food. So Malbec is a fun food wine. So, and Malbec also adds a fun bit of plum and blackberry to the finished result as well. So those are my 4 components. I don't use Petit Syrah. Petit Syrah is mostly used in Bordeaux blends for increasing color and increasing tannin. Well, as you can tell, I don't need help with color.
Yeah.
And up here in the mountains, we don't need help with tannin.
Yeah.
I worked at wineries. I worked at another hillside mountain winery where they were always struggling to get at least half a percent of Petit Verdot into there so they can say at least it had 1% of the 5 varietals. And another thing that I do is unique then is I'm barrel aging just shy of 3 years. Most Napa Valley wineries are 18 to 24 months. And that reason is not to make it oakier or toastier, but to give the wines more time in that naturally aerative environment so those tannins can soften, round out, be more food friendly. The goal with wine is to complement a meal, not beat it into submission.
Makes total sense, man. But thanks for explaining that. That's like questions I've always wanted to ask,
That's so interesting.
Oh, sure.
Because we love wine, we drink it, but to actually, you guys actually making it and tasting it and like you said, blending your different grapes and different varietals to make the best product you can is that's just phenomenal, man.
And we appreciate every second of it. And speaking of food pairing, it's done. So this is the end right here. So you just cut the skirt steak beautifully along with the pattern of the meat. And it's on a beautiful crostini, which is just Italian bread sliced and drizzled with olive oil and rubbed down with a garlic clove so it's not overpowering. And then I just top it off with a little bit of parsley because it looks pretty and parsley is really good. And I did this as experimental today. At the last second, I decided to make a horseradish sauce.
That's my idea. I said, needs just a little dash of horseradish.
Was it really? Was it really?
Well, maybe it was your idea. I don't know. I love horseradish.
It was my idea, but you agreed enthusiastically.
Yes, I did agree.
So,
yes.
Okay. Here.
Well, horseradish makes everything better. And you know what I like to do is sometimes I'll just do a little bit in an aioli just to tame it down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
It's so good. Well, that's what I put in here. I did like a little bit of sour cream and mayonnaise and a Dijon mustard with the horseradish. So it really should throw a nice flavor. When Brian ate this, when we tested it last week, he was like, it's like a magical little fancy steak sandwich. Mm-hmm. Is it still?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish I could pass you guys one.
Well, here, doesn't that work through the internet? You just
yeah, right.
And I just pull it through
eventually.
So, Andy, we had a couple of questions on our Zoom and on Facebook. So the first question was someone is asking about storing wine at refrigerator temperatures. How much damage will that cause to them?
So the problem with storing wine in a refrigerator, you've got two things going on. Your standard refrigerator does not have anything to isolate the vibration of the compressor from the goods being stored in the refrigerator. Wine refrigerators, there's a insulator that dampens that vibration. So what's happening if you store wine in a typical refrigerator, you've got two things going against you. One is you've got that constant vibration. I'll come back to that in a second. Two is that it is colder than winemakers intend to store wine at. Most refrigerators run just above freezing. So you're very potentially going to start throwing tartrate crystals and instability in wine. And that constant vibration is going to only encourage them to form. So you're going to wind up having a very gritty wine. So I, in general, don't recommend storing wine in a fridge for much more than overnight. So yeah, if you enjoy wines, it's well worth either carving out some space in your basement or find a cool space or invest in a wine fridge.
Nice.
Another question, Paula?
The other question was about the Cab Franc. Someone mentioned that they noticed that the Cab Franc has a little bit more sediment in it than other varietals do. Can you explain the reasoning behind that?
I will in a second. The vineyard crew is just wrapping up for the day, so I have a parade of ATVs going by right now.
Are they doing wheelies?
No, they're not doing wheelies.
That would be cool. I'm just kidding. Probably not the safest.
In terms of the sediment, one varietal is not predisposed to more sediment than another. Typically, it's just more how much tartaric acid there was in that wine from that given vintage. And that relative to the pH, relative to the alcohol, it's kind of complex chemistry that you guys don't want me to go into right now. Varietally, I can't think of a reason why Franc would be more prone to that than any other varietal. So sorry, I don't have an answer for you.
If you use a Coravin, you never have to worry about sediment ever.
True. Unless you shake it beforehand.
Oh, this is so good.
Andy, is there a way you're supposed to store like bottles of wine? Like, should you store them laying down or face up? Does it matter? Like, what if we don't have a wine cellar or a fridge? Yet is the key word, but yeah.
Yet. In general, you want to keep the cork wet. So horizontal is always good.
Yeah.
Upside down, equally good.
Wow.
Now, I once had that. Now, there's an exception to that, and that would be screw cap. Screw cap likes to be left cap up.
Mm. Yeah.
And the reason for that is just headspace. Screw cap wines in general want to be enjoyed earlier on, and when you store a screw cap wine neck up, the surface area where it's going to have contact to the gas inside is less than if it were upside down. You have a much larger surface area here.
Mm.
Now, that being said, when we do bottle a screw cap, and both our Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay we do in screw cap, there is a squirt of nitrogen as an inert gas to help protect the wine. But over time, especially like with our Chardonnay, we actually use a liner that simulates the air exchange you would get with a natural cork. So over time, there's going to be less nitrogen and a little bit in there.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sorry, we have a 4-year-old daughter's on the couch having a piece of pizza while we're trying to do this. So if one of us disappears, it's no offense.
She wants a glass of wine too.
Oh man, yes, I'm sure. If she's going to be anything like her mother, she'll love it when she's 21 years old.
Well, the other wine we have to try today.
Yeah, you want to bust it open? All right.
Yeah, it's our 2015 Merlot.
We even got
So
fresh glasses.
We do a very small amount of Merlot because Merlot sometimes gets blended into Cabernet, also goes into dedication. So in the case of the 2015 Merlot, we only made 147 cases. So for your fans watching us hearing a Schweiger for the first time, you're not going to find us in a lot of liquor stores or wine shops. We're primarily a direct-to-consumer brand. So, which actually lets me segue. So the only place you can really buy this Merlot or dedication is either by visiting our tasting room or visiting us online. And for your fans and for people new to Schweiger Vineyards tuning in today, we've got a coupon code good through tomorrow afternoon. And that code is After Dark. One word.
Nice.
And when you enter that, you get 10% off your purchase plus $10 flat rate shipping anywhere in the United States on your order of 6 or more bottles.
That's great.
That's wonderful, man. It's totally worth it, everybody. You should
God, it's so good.
Definitely get a bottle. Or 2 or 10 or 12.
Stock up.
All right, this is the Merlot.
Okay.
2015.
Merlot.
And this is 100% varietal Merlot. There's nothing else blended in here. So really trying to pop those varietal characteristics, as I mentioned earlier, those blue fruits, that boysenberry, that blueberry, that pomegranate.
Oh, I like it.
That's wonderful, man.
Really delicious.
Andy, can you repeat that code one more time, please?
The code is After Dark. One word. In fact, I believe it's on Brian's shirt.
It
Look
is.
at that. After Dark. This is my dad had a club in the outskirts of Cleveland back in the late 70s and 80s, and it was this was the logo for it was just all, I always just loved that. The place was so great. He had Chubby Checker play there. He had Van Halen played there once. It was just a crazy suburban club kind of vibe, but it was a cool place, man. That's we try to keep that vibe alive.
You definitely do. It's the perfect.
And so his club was actually called After Dark.
It was called After Dark, yes. Yeah, and then his logo was Things Happen After Dark.
And they still do.
They still do.
Is your dad still with us?
Yes, he is. But the club closed in like when I was maybe 10 years old or something. So maybe late 80s. But I got.
So I assume he's been to your show and appreciates the homage.
Oh, of course, man. Of course. I had to ask his permission. You know. He was totally cool with it. He
He loves it.
Yeah. So buy that wine. Code After Dark.
And that's at SchweigerVineyards.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Ah.
So we have another question for Brian and Angie. How have you guys been keeping creative these days?
Go ahead. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's been a bit of a challenge, but like I've said this to Brian, like once it started to happen, like we have to do something. I can't just sit here and not do anything. I will go completely insane. So we've been doing different things. The social media, I think, has been a great tool for this, right? We've really been able to communicate with our fans and stay in touch. And even in a way that I think is really refreshing in this challenging time where there's like definitely no fourth wall anymore. It's like, it's kind of like we're all just in this here together and we can connect at any moment, whether it's on the couch at night or Brian in his garage or out in the backyard. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with social media. I've been teaching dance classes for free weekly on Instagram. Brian's been doing some shows. I've been doing some shows. I mean, it's been kind of organic, but we're just trying to stick with it and keeping creating, keeping making things and entertaining, even if it's from the living room or the kitchen.
Or our 4-year-old.
Or our 4-year-old. She keeps us busy.
that keeps us the busiest, that's for sure.
And she's very creative. We're school teachers now as well.
Yeah, we just got our school teacher degree.
Yeah.
I'm no teacher. I'm not good. I'm maybe trumpet or music, but it's the stuff. It's crazy.
It's a challenge.
It's definitely a challenge, especially to get them to watch a screen for longer than 25 seconds. You know, to see their teachers or. It's challenging.
We have to get pretty creative to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, you're preaching to the choir with Paula on that one because she's a school teacher, and so.
Well, God bless your heart.
Really. It is a challenge, and our daughter's 4 years old, so we're not teaching her anything challenging. The challenge is to just get her to sit still and focus on I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah. I told Brian, I feel like I'm like in the Ripley's. I'm like a clown all day long. I'm like, look at this, do this.
But she's so good at it. Like it's me. Like I'm trying to learn patience. It's hard. I'm never home this much. Usually we're on the road together or separately, or we're always, we're passing ships some of the time. So I'm here a lot, and I'm trying to be a good husband and good father. And
he gets kicked out of the classroom sometimes.
Yeah, I get kicked out of class. So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
To the principal's office.
Which is my garage. Well, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a punishment. I'm catching on.
Right. Well, hey, Angie, the other thought I had, I completely forgot. Today's recipe, are you going to put that on your cooking blog? Maybe we should just reference there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be up on my blog at angiepontani.com, but I'm happy to send it to you as well.
Great.
Yeah, it's good. It's an easy recipe to make. And
it's so easy.
And it's really, really delicious.
And skirt steak is so fast. It's like 10 minutes on the grill and it's done. But Brian's been doing lots of stuff too.
I ate a whole loaf of bread of French toast the other day.
He did.
I was the whole loaf. I swear to God.
Takes a lot of focus and creativity.
Yeah, I make easy things: mac and cheese, French toast, stuff like that. Egg
but
omelets.
You've been doing lots of creative stuff.
I have been doing a lot of creative stuff. I've been writing a lot of music, where I'm making a lot of arrangements for the band. We've been recording like remotely. And then also working on arrangements so when we do get to go back, we have some new stuff to play, and we have some new sounds to bring to the people that we care so much about. It's the whole reason why we do it, So I'm trying to make sure that I come out of this a better musician and a better person, a better human being, so that we can bring that much better of a show to the masses when we can get back safely.
But he's also kind of sparked this musical revolution in our neighborhood, because he would play in his garage. And then other people started playing. So often at night here, at 7 o'clock, everybody claps and cheers. So at 7 o'clock the other night on Memorial Day, you know, Brian played taps, then another horn player played taps, and then
The trombone player played taps.
yeah, the trombone player played taps. And then a guitar player came on and played an electric version of the Star Spangled Banner.
Played the Jimi Hendrix version, yeah.
Yeah, but it was just so cool.
Yeah, it's fun, man. We're gonna. I think our piano player Alex Smith that I've been playing with since '99. In the next couple weeks, he's gonna come out to our house he lives in Peekskill, New York, and we're gonna socially distance and have a little jam session. You know, so hopefully in the next couple weeks when the lockdown lifts and everybody can do it safely, we're going to make that happen. So even if there's no venues, no bars, we'll still got to make music and we'll still try to be entertaining. And thank God we have this because it just makes everything better.
Yes. Have you met Gordon Goodwin?
I have not.
So he's been doing something interesting, and I'm not sure what software platform he's doing, but you know, obviously with the big fat band, it's hard to do big band rehearsals over the internet. But I guess he's got some platform, and he's doing this for music education for high school, together a big band of high schoolers around the country where they kind of do a one-on-one session. So you may want to reach out and check out what he's doing on Facebook, and very fun guy to talk to.
Yeah.
You know,
if you could email me that I would love that. If you just hit me that name, I'll write it down right now.
Yeah, or I can make an email introduction.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, he was actually one of the first guests when I started having guests on here, and I've always been a big band lover. And so when he actually said yes to come on, I did not sleep that night. I was so excited.
Oh, that's
awesome. Fun special connections. It was during the interview with him that I found out that he used to be part of the saxophone quartet at Disneyland. And then I said, no way, what years? Because I was inspired to play saxophone because of the Disneyland Saxophone Quartet. So we found out in that 1 hour interview that he's the reason I play sax today.
Wow, man.
That's crazy.
That's just what a small world, man. What a small world. That's such a dream that you got to do that, you know. It's very cool.
Yeah.
That's what music's
great.
about.
Well, guys,
you know?
thank you for exactly. It's making friends, making connections, and having fun together.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that's what I miss the most. You know, I know that we both feel the same way. It's like we entertaining people and being with our friends who, you know, the band we've been playing with for years, and I haven't seen those guys in forever, and just feels a little more empty. You know what I mean?
The connection when people play together, and even when I dance with the live band, that connection is so magical. It really is.
Yeah.
We definitely miss it.
The large band I play in, it's marching band instrumentation, but we don't march. It's more of a mobile rock and roll.
Oh wow!
So we're anywhere from 70 to 90 pieces. So how do you get the California repercussions?
Wow.
I'll send you our YouTube link, but we're trying to figure out, you know, so we play large venues like the state fair, beer festivals, and all that's been canceled. So the only gig we had this year was early February. We filmed a commercial for Nissan for the Final Four for March Madness, which never happened.
Oh man!
So the commercial never aired.
Oh man, that's just showbiz, baby. That's it.
Showbiz, but we want to get together and practice. And so what I've been proposing is, okay, 6x6 social distancing. All these vines are 10 by 11. Everybody pick a vine, and conductor stands where I am.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh,
and that would
man.
make a great YouTube video.
That would make a great YouTube video. And amazing.
Well, hey, guys, I want to thank you for coming on today, enjoying our 2013 dedication and 2015 Merlot. For your fans who want to try us out, schweigervineyards.com and use the code AFTERDARK. And I'm kind of wrapping this up because, Brian, I've had a lot of people sending in comments, play music.
Yes.
And Andrew already gave us the clue. Next week at 3 o'clock on Friday, our guest is going to be Andy Gutauskas. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. and Brad Hammond from Brass Against. And we also have partners next week with Gabriel Glass, the glassware we use here in the tasting room. So we're going to have a fun door prize next week as well. So for everybody out there, we hope you can join us. Stay safe, stay healthy. Brian and Angie, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so
You want
much.
to play us out
Thank
with
you.
something?
Yeah, absolutely,
Thank
man.
you.
Here we go. We're going to burn one. After you gone and let me crying, after you gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue. You'll feel so sad. You'll miss that dearest pal that you've ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it. There'll come a time, oh baby, you'll regret it. And someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will bust like mine and you'll want me only. After you've gone away. No, after you've gone and let me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue. You'll feel so sad. You'll miss that dearest pal that you've ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it. There'll come a time when you'll regret it. Or someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will bust like mine and you'll want me only. After you've gone away.
Showgirl.
Nice. Thank you, guys.
Oh, you kidding? Thank you. That was,
Unfortunately, Paula reminded me we still haven't given away the Coravan yet tonight.
Oh.
yeah, we got to give that away.
Yeah, so I drew these names ahead of time. Lawrence Weir, are you there?
How do we see who's in here?
Hello, Lawrence. Lawrence, if you're here, can you say something? Let's hit participants.
I don't see him.
Lawrence, you lost out.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Andy, can you read the name again, please? It's a little, it was
Lawrence
a little
Weir. I
unclear.
don't see him as an attendee. What's that?
I don't see him.
No, Lawrence, going once. Well, I looked and I fortunately did a second and first runner-up and a second runner-up, and the first runner-up was Jeffrey Iverson, and I don't see him, but that means our second runner-up is our winner because he is here, Dennis Hogenkamp.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yes!
Yes.
Yeah, man. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Lucky you.